winter games. Tonight, it's BC and Calgary, a Western football rivalry renewed inside.
The Lions are still smarting from a last-second overtime loss to the Argos last Friday night.
With 10 ex-Stampeders lining up for the Lions, there is no shortage of incentive for Wally's boys in BC tonight.
Stampeder head coach Jim Barker's already felt his share of criticism in his first year in Calgary. It'll not end if the Stamps don't win a couple of games real soon.
After 13 years in Calgary, Wally Buono can already taste the sweetness of a victory over his old team. And while he won't admit it, victory would be sweet revenge indeed. This is the first of a home-and-home Western series, and it's already crucial for Calgary to win a couple of games and remain within realistic range of a playoff spot.
Hey, both teams all week long have been downplaying the hype of this game. Neither team wanting to give the opponent that article to pin up in the locker room. But you know, deep down, this is a huge rivalry.
Yeah, I thought Jim Daly gave it to us when we walked out. The defensive coach for the Stampeders said, "This will be war tonight." We're underway in Cotillo for the BC Lions out across the 45 with a 30-yard return. Dave Dickinson is back after watching one from the sidelines. It's safe to say he is anxious to play against his old team.
Well, Spurgeon Wynn started versus the Argos, played very well in relief, and had a very different game plan than Dave Dickinson will have tonight. Much more conservative game plan. Dickinson will throw the ball down the field.
Lions won the toss and chose to receive. And after the return by Cotillo, they're out across the 45 at the 47 for this first sequence of the game. Dickinson's first pass is on target. Chris Brazel makes the catch, and he's halfway to a first down. Geroy Simon and Jason Claremont have been great inside receivers. Another ex-Stamp, Kelvin Anderson, can hardly wait to get his hands on the football tonight. Up front, Angus Reid anchors an all-Canadian offensive line.
Geroy Simon, second in the Canadian Football League in yardage, 665 yards and 7 touchdowns. Just 90 yards away from a personal best for Geroy Simon. He may get that tonight.
Make it a 7-yard gain. This is 2nd and 3. Dickinson has time and looks to the near side. Missed on the toss for Lyle Green.
Defensively, the Calgary Stampeders, Joe Fleming up front leads the Canadian Football League in sacks. He has 7. Alondra Johnson missed last week, is back in the middle of that front 7 and the leader. And Lawrence Deck plays safety. Bit of a black hole at the safety position with injuries. Davis Sanchez, the star on the corner, playing great again. It's his return in the CFL.
Starting lineups brought to you by Tums. Tums tackles heartburn fast. Lions quickly in a punting situation. Curtis Head is in. McGarity is deep. And this guy has been a star in his first year in the CFL, number 86 for the Stampeders.
Oh, is he ever. Every time he touches the ball, he's a threat. The Lions will try and kick it away from him. In fact, try and kick it out of bounds. Doesn't make it this time.
Lions are looking for much better play on special teams. Plays like that. Something that was missing last week against the Argonauts. Ron Akame leading the tacklers there for BC. Scott Milinovich gets his 2nd start for the Stampeders. Interceptions have been his big problem. He has turned it over 7 times in 5 quarters in the CFL.
Well, 2 injuries in the backup situation. Federick has a concussion he's still trying to get through. Marcus Crandall, a bad hamstring on his left leg. And coach would rather not put them in the game. They're not ready, not 100% at this point.
Little play action fake. And he missed. He was wide outside. Milinovich has 1 red-hot receiver. Darnell McDonald has 28 catches in his last 3 games. Wayne McGarity is always a threat. And up front, the Stampeders are happy to have all-Canadian Jay McNeil back in their lineup tonight.
Darnell McDonald, a physical receiver for the Calgary Stampeders. 3 times this year. He's been over 100 yards. And we have a chance tonight to watch some of the best in the CFL as far as statistics go anywhere this year.
2nd and 10. Milinovich feeling the heat, and he had to throw that one away, bouncing it at the 15.
It starts by both defenses for the BC Lions in their front seven. Baron Simpson in the middle. Carl Kidd returns to the lineup, and he's playing with 2 broken fingers, 1 on each hand. Ray Jacobs in his 3rd start with the BC Lions. There's the secondary. And Carter and Lewis on the left side are the veterans. Mark Washington in the middle at safety.
1 on each hand. I guess that's for balance.
Well, he's got the pointer finger on one hand and then the ring finger on the other. He said to me before the game a total of 8 pins have been surgically inserted into both hands.
Here's Duncan O'Mahony on 3rd down. Not deep, but he'll get a decent bounce out of it. G-Roy Simon takes it. Cotello tries to throw a block, and Simon flies around the far side. Good return for G-Roy Simon. He gets on the other side of midfield and stopped there by Scott Dybert. Dickinson missed last week, and he's back in the lineup. It was tough to keep him out of this game against his old team.
A couple weeks ago versus the Ottawa Renegades, this is where he injured, actually broke the finger in his left hand. The non-throwing hand had pins inserted in that hand, as did Carl Kidd, his teammate. And the question tonight will be how much he's in the shotgun and if he even can get under the center with that left hand and left glove all taped up.
Playing with the Michael Jackson look tonight, the glove on one hand.
Well, he could be a thriller.
Oh, you're good. Kelvin Anderson around the right side, and well read by his ex-teammates. You think that Kelvin wants to have an evening tonight?
He does. He does, and more so than Dave Dickinson. I mean, Dave Dickinson signed as a free agent. Kelvin Anderson was in a battle in training camp, a battle that, according to Jim Barker, he lost to Lawrence Phillips, and he decided to go with Lawrence Phillips. Kelvin Anderson didn't feel very appreciated at that moment. He has downplayed the hype heading into this game, but guarantee you deep down in the belly, he wants to show Jim Barker that he made a mistake.
And he's on target for another 1,000-yard season. There was early movement from the Stampeders on 2nd down.
Well, John, it's like, you know, I mean, it goes back to the days when you were even in elementary or high school. You know, in those days when the popular group kind of left you behind and you were standing there and you felt, you know what? One day I'll show them.
Offside, Calgary, number 35, defeats 2nd down.
That happened to you? You got left behind?
Yeah, sometimes that happens.
I
I think that happens to everybody, and especially when you look at what Kelvin Anderson has done throughout his career, and just over 1,000 yards in every single year in the Canadian Football League. He felt he deserved a little more respect than he got when he was asked to leave the Calgary Stampeders organization, and he wants to show up tonight. I can guarantee you that.
This is 2nd and 2, and Kelvin Anderson gets the call. He should have enough for the 1st down for the BC Lions. Spurgeon Wynn came in to take the handoff on that short yardage situation, and when we watched him last week, he played decently well against the Argonauts.
And it's a good decision by Wally Buono to put Spurgeon Wynn in the game in short yardage. He has to get under the center in a short yardage situation, so that protects Dave Dickinson's finger a little bit. And also, he's a big, strong guy that can fall forward, and he doesn't have that hand in the bottom of a pile. And when you're talking Dickinson, and it's a short yardage, 1-yard play.
Let's see how close he actually is. They'll measure this one, and Anderson comes up a yard shy. Wally Buono thought that he had the 1st down as well.
Yeah, they'll go and get it anyway, or at least attempt to. You know, we'll see Dave Dickinson 95%, if not the entire game, in the shotgun formation. And of course, it's a non-throwing hand, so it's not throwing that's affected, it's receiving the ball from center that's affected.
So again, it's Spurgeon Wynn behind the center. 3rd down. A little less than a yard to go for the Lions, and Wynn himself carrying.
Here, gentlemen, got it here.
He should have the 1st down definitely this time. That's the early indication down there. Well, hang on now. The Stampeders think they may have stopped them again. Dave Dickinson really wanted to get back into the game, and here's how he viewed his situation yesterday.
I'm fine with discomfort. I know that's part of the game. I just don't want to try to risk another break that if it does break this time, it'll be more in splinters. So it's, you know, a couple-month deal. We don't want to get into that scenario.
Well, he won't get a chance to continue this drive, John, because Wally Buono's squad is stopped on back-to-back short yardage plays. One Kelvin Anderson, one Spurgeon Wynn, and Calgary Stampeders with their first big play of the football game. It comes on the defensive side of the ball. Look at the surge from the Calgary defensive front seven. Everybody up in line of scrimmage. And always the key in this situation is which team can get the lowest and get the best leverage against the opponent. Calgary won that battle.
Darnell McDonald for the Stampeders, flanks to the near side on first down. Time for the Stampeders quarterback, but he can't find anyone home, and Scott Milinovich fired that one well wide. This is his second start for the Calgary Stampeders, and when they thought about him as a quarterback, they weren't expecting him to be in the lineup until somewhere around Labor Day.
And you know that's something that is going to fuel the BC Lions front four, and Herman Smith, Ray Jacobs already causing some problems for Scott Milinovich and forcing him to throw the ball away a couple of times already in the first two series of this football game.
Second and 10.
There's Carl Kidd. You know, you talk about a warrior. Carl Kidd, we just mentioned his hands. 8 pins total. And he said in the paper this week, he said, here he comes. He's coming on the blitz, and he's going to make the play and cause Calgary to punt the football here. He takes on alignment, uses his hands there. And then McCullough gets tackled, uses his hands there. He said, you know what? I don't need fingers. I'll play this game without fingers. I'll just use my arms and my shoulders if I have to.
And he limited McCullough's gain there to less than 2 yards. And the Stampeders are into a punting situation. Good kick by Duncan O'Mani. G-Roy Sonam looking for a block on the far side. The kicker gets over to slow him down, and Duncan O'Mani did enough to force him out. Scott Dybert was over to finish off the play, but it was a 38-yard return after a 50-yard punt. What a year number 81 is having.
Doesn't matter if he's running or catching passes.
Getting sacked is the last thing I want in my game, but it can mean a sack of groceries for food bank.
Every time a CFL quarterback gets sacked, Purelator will donate his weight in food to a hometown food bank. Catch the Purelator Tackle Hunger Sack Tally during CFL games on TSN.
The new Nissan Sentra. All roads lead to fun.
And this.
Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt.
And this.
Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt.
This.
Bacon Mushroom Melt.
And this.
Bacon Mushroom Melt.
When you gotta have all that bacon and cheddar sauce with mushrooms, you gotta have it.
And this.
Wendy's Bacon Mushroom Melt. And 2 girls on a motorcycle.
Oh boy.
Sport Check turns up the heat on summer savings. Great prices on the hottest names in summer fashions, the latest styles in casual and athletic wear, and a huge selection of footwear, plus equipment and accessories for all your summer sporting needs. Sport Check, the best value.
Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life is a sequel that's bigger and better than the original. Angelina Jolie is captivating.
Get down!
In an unforgettable adventure that's truly brilliant. Tomb Raider. Now playing.
Stampeders were missing 7 starters last week in the loss against Saskatchewan.
Well, certainly Alondra Johnson was one of the biggest, because especially when you're talking about playing the run on defense, Alondra Johnson leads that front 7, make sure everyone's lined up properly. And Saskatchewan ran the ball very effectively against Calgary last week, and Alondra Johnson was not in the lineup.
He'll zero in on an old friend in this one tonight, and Kelvin Anderson, far side, complete. Chris Prazel has it there.
It's interesting, John, that you say that, because both players were asked, because with Alondra Johnson, he is one of the guys that you can always count on to say something controversial when it comes to a game, especially a rivalry. And even he was trying to downplay it. You know, and the bottom line is, for the Calgary Stampeders, this game is so important to them. When you look at what they've done this season, maybe more importantly, what they haven't done.
And where they are,
and where they are, yeah. And this game is a big one, and they just didn't want to give fuel to the opposition, in this case, the BC Lions.
Game was 8, 2nd and 2. Dickinson had problems. Picks it up, takes out, first down, sliding safely across the 40 and down to about the 47-yard line. Pinned there by Jason Bray, who is back on that Stampeder defensive side of things this week as well.
Here's the first test for that left hand of Dave Dickinson, because that ball is low and to the left side. He had to knock it down, really doesn't show any pain there, and then takes off and runs and actually holds the ball with the left hand.
Dickinson needed a couple. He picked up 10. Lions have a first down inside the 40 now. Quick release. Anderson has it far side. And about 4 yards there.
So he's got the glove on the left hand, and that's just to help with the tape that he's going to have to wrap those two fingers together. So he's got the ring finger wrapped right to the middle finger, and likely something to numb the pain at the very least.
Stitches just came out yesterday.
And he has not been under center once, and likely won't be in this game.
Three-yard gain, 2nd and 7. Dickinson has no problem throwing. Brazil made the catch, and he's short of the first down. There's a penalty marker at the point of impact, and one on the far side of the field at the line of scrimmage as Davis Sanchez was over to make the tackle.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll let them sort out these penalties. I'm just watching, though, and that's a couple of bad snaps for Dave Dickinson. Of course, more pressure on Angus Reid, center for the BC Lions. With Dave Dickinson's hand in the situations it's in, he wants to have that shotgun snap soft and back there as quickly as possible. He's going to have to mix that up and make sure he...
Offside, Calgary, number 98. That penalty's declined. Major foul, spearing, Calgary, number 2, first down.
Decline the first one and take the longer of the two. Davis Sanchez on the spearing call at the point of attack, but let's just go back and see. There's Dave Dickinson with that left hand, and you see a couple of low snaps now. It puts a little more pressure on Angus Reid, and here's the end of the play, and watch when number 2 comes in your screen. Chris Brazel goes down. He's down there, and see Davis Sanchez led with his head.
Add in the penalties, and the Lions are set up at the 15, first down. Dickinson has a wide open target far side. Touchdown Lions. Jason Claremont wide open.
Yeah, and you know, Dave Dickinson, this guy on the football field is as good as the guy that fixed his finger. He is a surgeon, and he just methodically moved that football down the field, found Claremont the perfect read, wide open in the flat, hit him with it. And Claremont just ran in the end zone, and they're just a different football team, obviously, with Dave Dickinson in the lineup.
Third touchdown of the season for Jason Claremont, and they don't look much easier than that. 7-0 Lions on Wendy's Friday Night Football. Jason Claremont, a bit of a slow start because of injury. He wasn't around for the very beginning of the season, but this is number 3.
Saw Fleming. You see how wide open Jason Claremont is. He's the third receiver out there. The first 2 receivers went deep to take coverage with him. Claremont's open underneath. I just showed you Fleming because Fleming got to Dave Dickinson as he released the football.
And this is out of bounds, so they'll re-kick that. So watching closely on the Lion quarterback who hooked up with Claremont. Here's a better look.
Yeah, watch what I was talking about here with Fleming is he's working on Dan Payne, and you see how he gets the hit there. Now look at the left hand of Dickinson. He gets it on Fairbrother, right on Ben Fairbrother's shoulder pad, and it's right underneath him. He's trying to protect it as he goes down, and you can see he just checks it out. And you know Dave Dickinson is going through some pain. Whether he says it or not, whether he shows it or not, he's going through some pain in that left hand. The major concern for the Lions is plays just like that he gets caught up in a shoulder pad or something like that.
McCullough for a couple on first down Stampeders. And he ran into the middle linebacker, Barron Simpson, who leads the league in tackles so far this season.
You know, Saladin McCullough came out, and in his first game, he had over 100 yards rushing, and obviously Jim Barker was very excited about the prospects. And since then, the running game for Calgary has been slowed drastically. Now, Lawrence Phillips has been practicing the last week.
Heat is on again, and not this time as Ray Jacobs gets through on Scott Milinovich. 3 sacks last week in his debut as a BC Lion. He's off to a good start tonight. Ray Jacobs, runner-up for lineman of the week.
Well, and what an addition, because it provides balance to the front four. There's Jacobs right there. He's inside of Derek Lewis, and Bo Lewis shows blitz and then backs out of there. So it's a one-on-one. Ray Jacobs on Fred Childress, former teammates, and see as Milanovic steps up into the pocket, he steps right into the arms of Ray Jacobs.
And the Stampeder offense is struggling. That was the third 2-and-out in succession. So G-Roy Simon drops deep. Had a great return last time. O'Mani will keep it away from him, but Catala was as dangerous. Not this time. Slowed by the first man down. And the return limited to 5 yards. So Dave Dickinson gets another crack at it with the Lions on top by a touchdown. Back for the Lions, first down. A couple for Lyle Green.
You know, and that's a simple handoff to Lyle Green in the middle. And Dave Dickinson is another concern for him in that hand is simply when he hands the ball off. And because what happens is he puts that left hand on the football and then into the stomach of Lyle Green or whomever the running back is. Could be Kelvin Anderson, usually is. And the running back will not only take the ball, but he'll take the hand with him for the first step. And you know that causes a little pain for Dave Dickinson every time he has to hand the football off.
Gain is 3, 2nd and 7 Lions. From the 25 here. Heat was on. He got it away. Claremont makes the catch over the middle. He'll be short of the first down at about the 31. Lawrence Deck getting back into the Stampeder lineup for this one tonight.
Yeah, the blitz coming, John, from the backside. The Jason Bray from the secondary was on the blitz. And Deck, that forces the safety when the halfback is blitzing to step up, and he now has to cover one-on-one. In this case, it's on Jason Claremont. He does a nice job. He allows Claremont to catch it underneath him and make the tackle, force the Lions to punt the football.
Here's Curtis Head. Standing back near the BC 15.
Hands. Hands, guys, hands.
Lotario Rochelle. One back, and there are a couple of Stampeders and a little bit of confusion there. Anthony Pryor actually coming up with the ball. He was waiting for the bounce. Nice game for Darnell McDonald last week. 8 receptions, 76 yards.
Yeah, and you know what I like more about his game last week was yeah, the yards are great, and that's all nice, and he made some nice catches, but this is what I liked about his game last week right here. This is the other part of his game, and that hit on Reggie Hunt. I mean, that's big league right there, and he's been doing that all season long. He is as physical a receiver as there is in the league.
Plays like that can get a guy a spot on Glenn's Gladiators.
I tell you, that's huge, and you know, receivers at times don't always like to do stuff like that. Darnell McDonald loves it. And I know I have Jock Climbing back in the studio just saying, wait a minute. But for the most part, they love to catch those touchdowns. And they don't They'll take hits, and tough receivers will take hits over the middle. Darnell McDonald will certainly do that, but he'll also deliver a blow.
I think I hear what you're saying. Not many receivers deliver.
That's right.
All good receivers have to be able to take it.
That's right.
Shotgun, Milanovic. Heats on again. Off balance, got it away, but there'll be no yardage as Don Blair comes up with a catch, and significant yardage has been difficult for the Stampeders to come up with.
Well, John, Scott Milanovic is having his problems because of the pass rush, because Darnell McDonald, if we take a look at him, see that little in cut? Now, he's got nice space in there. He's wide open, but due to the pressure, and it's pressure from just 4, you can see that Carl Kidd is picking up his man outside, but other than that, it's just a 4-man rush from the Lions, but they have collapsed that pocket.
It'll go as a completion, but a loss of a yard. 2nd and 11. Milanovic stands in. Positive yardage here, but short of the first down. McGarity makes the catch there, number 86.
You know, Carl Kidd comes on the blitz here, and Ray Jacobs is dropped back into the coverage. And it's Ray Jacobs is going to track the receiver all the way across the field and make the tackle short of the first down. There's Carl Kidd coming on the blitz. He forces the early throw, and at the other end of it, look at who's out there in coverage. Big Ray Jacobs, 53.
Deshaun Austin helping out.
That's some kind of athlete that can be your rush end and then cover a receiver.
Catallo deep. Along with G. Roy Simon, here's Duncan Omani. Gets all of this. A one-hopper, and Simon had nowhere to go but out of bounds. Forced out by Rochelle. 43-yard punt, 1 on the return. On the sidelines tonight, Perry Solikowski at the Stampeder bench, and Farhan Lalji over at the Lions side.
Well, John, so much talk in this game about the number of players that have faced each other in previous uniforms, but let's talk about the coaches. Not only Wally Buono, but 3 of his assistants, Jacques Chapdelaine, Mike Benavides, and Dan DeRazio, also former Stampeders. And they really downplay the talk of this rivalry. They say that the reason the Stamps and Lions hate each other so much is because of what's happened on the field. It's been a great rivalry for the last 5 years, dating back to '99. And Wally says that while some coaches have something to prove against their former team, he doesn't, because he chose to leave.
Oh, baby! G.Y. Simon, midfield.
He lost his drawers. He went for that one, and he said, look, I don't care. I'm leaving my uniform if I have to. I'll crawl out of this baby to catch this football. Watch this one.
Again. Oh, baby.
Right down the seam, and see, he's starting to lose the drawers now. Now he's got to lay out. The drawers come off right there, and now he's got to adjust. He's got to pick up the football. What a catch down the seam by G. Roy Simon. Pick up the football, pull up your drawers.
43-yard gain there, and this is indefensible, isn't it?
There's the drawers right there. I got to fix that before I get up.
Yeah, you got to stay
on
on the
national
turf.
television, but what a catch by G. Roy Simon. I'm fine. I need a new belt is all I need.
Yeah. There are the Lions roaring again. Kelvin Anderson, the ex-Stampeder, for about 5.
But John, this is the difference between BC Lions right now and the BC Lions a week ago. And this is not taking anything away from what Spurgeon Wynn did in his first start, but it was a much more conservative game plan. Plays like that to G. Roy Simon just weren't part of the package when they played the Argonauts. And right over here is Jacques Chapdelaine. He knows now that with Dave Dickinson in the football game, he wants his receivers now to hit down that seam. He's got the speed in G. Roy Simon. Why not go after him?
After the huge gain, penalty markers fly. Procedure call coming here.
You know, and it's the mental side of the game.
Procedure, BC number 57. Repeat 2nd down.
Yeah, Dan Payne, and he's working on Joe Fleming. He gets the procedure. But let's take one more look at that catch with G. Roy Simon. And you know, and I was getting to the point where Dave Dickinson, it's just the mental part of his game. He had man-to-man defense, and he had a couple of guys going deep, and he made the right decision immediately. Like, his decision-making process is split second.
Second down. Simon again. They go right back to him. Kelly Malvo
Exactly.
made the tackle, but Simon has the first down.
And this time now, John, it's a similar pattern from G-Roy Simon, except this time he recognizes it's a different defense. So when he sees that it's a different type of defense, he'll just hesitate. He recognizes different defense. I just got to get around there now and just present a little bit of a target for Dickinson, and I guarantee he'll throw it in there. And now Kelly Malvo, he's got his hands full right now on a hot G-Roy Simon.
G-Roy Simon with 722 receiving yards coming into this one. 1st and 10. Lions. Simon on a little reverse end around for Simon. About 7 more there.
We just showed you G-Roy Simon's receiving yards. He had an 88-yard touchdown run versus the Toronto Argonauts.
Solid opening quarter for the BC Lions, and this guy in particular, he's done it all already.
7-0 for the BC Lions at home against Calgary. A couple of years ago, when Dave Dickinson was the CFL MVP, his main target in that Calgary receiving corps back then was Travis Moore, not Alan Pitts, Travis Moore. This year, unquestionably, it is G-Roy Simon.
Oh, great catch by G-Roy Simon, but I want to highlight the formation because I think the formation had a lot to do with the success. Watch on this play. The running back on the right-hand side, 2-point stance as a tight end. He's going to release to the inside. That creates a moment of hesitation for the linebackers in terms of whether they're going to blitz, and then the catch by Simon. That is big time in a play, in a game where big plays are everything. That's the first big play for the BC Lions, G-Roy Simon.
And let me show you the BC Lions touchdown and show you how it happens. Jason Clermont, you're going to see, is going to get wide open. You ask yourself, why? How can this happen in professional football? Well, the answer is Jason Bray, who's playing halfback here. Now, you're going to see out here in the corner of the halfback, they're locked on man and man. And as you see this play develop, Jason Bray is playing inside, and you're going to see him seemingly not playing man on Jason Clermont, and that leaves Clermont wide open to prance into the end zone. You got to ask yourself, how can this happen? Well, watch Bray's body language here. Here you see him again. This is not a man, as you see from the top of our screen, who's playing man-to-man. This is a man who's playing zone coverage. DBs and linebackers, the whole defense has to communicate coming out of the huddle. There was clearly no communication on that play.
No communication defensively for Calgary and offensively. They did not have a first down in the first quarter offensively. On a night that they're looking to settle down Scott Milinovich, they are not running the football. All the pressure is put solely on this young man's shoulders, and to me, it's a shame because he's getting all kinds of pressure by that BC Lions defense, and he's forced into second and long situations. Now the BC Lions can drop to zone and play everything underneath and force them to punt, and it's exactly what they did in the entire first quarter.
Dave Dickinson has his 17th touchdown pass of the season, one behind Anthony Calvillo, who had 3 more tonight for Montreal. Guys?
Check out the numbers from the opening quarter. It's all BC.
Good. Not so good, not so good, not so good down that column. I mean, you just can't sugarcoat it.
You're a tough marker, Teach. Calvin Anderson takes the swing pass, turns it into a first down. Joe Fleming was there for the tackle.
Yeah, and he wants to make sure he's going to go make a point, and Calvin Anderson, throughout his career, has not been a guy that is very vocal on the football field. He goes out there with his lunch bucket and his blue collar, and he goes to work. And that's what Calvin Anderson has done. That's why Wally Buono wanted him here when he came with the BC Lions. But tonight we may see a little more of Calvin Anderson, just to point out to the guy on the other sideline that he wants to make a point tonight.
Well, and Calvin Anderson always gets his 1,000. Nice pump fake by Dickinson. Oh, and he had him.
Sure did.
Curtalo.
But I'll tell you what happened, John. Anthony Pryor on the pump fake just got enough of Frank Curtalo just to make him hesitate for a split second, and it was enough to disrupt the play. You see a strong pump fake here from Dave Dickinson. It's a double move from Frank Curtalo. Here's the first move. Pump fake that one. Now I'm going to go deep over the top to you. And Anthony Pryor just got enough of Curtalo to slow him up.
Dave Dickinson coming in 68% completion percentage. Shotgun here, and there was early movement. No doubt about that.
Well, John, that's best in the league. 68% of your passes. Just think about it. With all the variables in the game of football, the pass rush, you've got 4 guys, one of them including Joe Fleming, who is the sack leader this year with 7 coming into this game.
Offside, Calgary, number 90, repeat second down.
You're with a new football team, learning new receivers. You got those guys bearing down. I mean, that guy looks like Darth Vader walking down the hallway. And now you got Dave Dickinson completing close to 70% of his passes.
And he's over that tonight, 9 of 11.
Wow.
At 82% so far this evening. Low snap again. Dickinson handles it. Buys some time. Up in the air, and Simon can't bring it down. G-Roy Simon went high, got one hand on it. Dickinson did not miss by much.
G-Roy Simon, he's on the 4 receiver side. Now the Calgary Stampeders left 2 defensive backs back on the opposite side of the field. That's why Dave Dickinson comes across, and that's the first time he's just a little high and outside on a throw.
Having a little problem with the knickers again. I think maybe he borrowed Ben Fairbrothers.
They got mixed up in the locker room maybe because he needs a belt and cinch those babies up.
Here's Curtis Head, 27-yard try. He's got that one, and thinking back to a week ago, he went 5 for 5 before missing 2 of his last 3 in the loss to the Argonauts. Jeff and Mark Pilon are brothers and playing each other for the first time in the CFL. Here's Perry Selkowski.
Yeah, of all the relationships, and everybody knows everyone, they've gone through all their time playing, practicing together through college, through university, through pro in Calgary, and now's the first time they actually get to go head-to-head. The interesting thing, John, is that Mark did Jeff's contract with Wally Buono, so he gets to go head-to-head with his agent. Suit's always patting his agent on the back. We'll see if he liked the deal he cut for him.
Good stuff.
McGarity.
Oh, McGarity. Lost it. Stampeders got it back. Wayne McGarity took a hit and coming up with a loose ball.
Oh, yeah. Mark Collis was the right place at the right time, John, and then that's McGarity. He gets his teammate, bails him out on that one. That ball was knocked out of there. And Mark Collis, Stampeder draft picks, happened to be in the right place. He got the good bounce, and he kept the football because that was a turnover in their own end.
Stampeders begin at the 35. Offensively, they haven't generated much. The swing pass this time. McGarity will put it into a first down and hammered out of bounds right into the Stampeder bench. First down for the Stampeders here in BC tonight.
Oh yeah, McGarity he wants to be part of our Sounds of the Game package. Because that's a nice play to get McGarity outside of the rush and get the football out of Scott Milanovich's hands in a hurry. That takes the pass rush out of it. Now watch, he wants to be Sounds of the Game. Oh, there he is. Okay, Wayne, you are now in Sounds of the Game. He just ran into the microphone.
McGarity got the best of that going out of bounds. Had an elbow up for protection. And an 18-yard gain for the Stampeders. Most positive play of the night for this Calgary offense on the first down. Almost a one-handed catch, or at least one hand on the ball. McGarity again, and there's a penalty marker down back at the line.
It's back at the line of scrimmage, though. It was Bo Lewis that was in coverage on Wayne McGarity down the seam, and the coverage looked tight but clean.
Illegal contact, BC, number 17, first down.
I didn't see pass interference, and it wasn't pass interference. It was illegal contact, and it had to be closer to the line of scrimmage on Wayne McGarity. And the reason he was a little late getting down that seam. But 2 positive plays back-to-back for the Calgary Stampeder. One by McGarity carrying the ball, one by penalty with McGarity the intended target.
And a first down for the Stampeders, so back-to-back first down plays. McGarity involved in both. McCullough around the right side and rolled out by Barron Simpson with a little help from Herman Smith.
Darnell McDonald is starting again early. We showed you last week versus Saskatchewan how physical he can be. He loves this crack block. Comes all the way downhill, and this time it's Ron Okami who gets it right in the chin. Now here's what has to happen in that play. The corner, in this case on the backside, it's Shad Chris, has got to tell the linebackers that he's coming. and you yell crack, 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 so the linebacker can look.
2nd and 8. The Heat's on again, and batted down at the line. And there was an opportunity for the BC Lions to regain possession in a hurry. But Carl Kidd, with 2 broken fingers, had a little difficulty.
Well, they haven't sent a whole lot of pressure. This is one time that they do. Carl Kidd coming on the blitz. He's inside. He drops underneath that and almost has that one. And Carl Kidd, before the game, said he felt like they might try and test him in the passing game with his both hands all taped up.
Brent Johnson making the play to get his hands on the ball and tip it high. So Duncan O'Mahony stands at his 50. Utalo and G. Simon for the Lions. O'Mahony hopes to angle this one out of bounds. And where do they mark it? Inside the line, so a single points. O'Mahony wanted to put it out at about the 1. He drove it a little too far.
The second half of back-to-back games, Toronto and Edmonton.
And this is the first of 2 in a row for the Stampeders and the Lions. Chris Brazel made the catch, and Dickinson is hanging in, isn't he?
Well, let's take a look at how he's handling the football. He's had some bad snaps to deal with. He scooped him up with that bad hand and then actually held the football with the bad hand. Another one he had to go down for. He's got a good grip on the football there. There's Claremont. That's the one he almost got hit.
And that was the touchdown.
That's right. Touchdown to Jason Claremont. So far, so good for Dave Dickinson handling the football.
Another low snap. Dickinson has it. And Ryan Thelwell will have another first down. Kelly Malbrough.
You know, this is a decision. This is a decision process for Dave Dickinson. He has to throw this ball a long, long way, but it's exactly where the read takes him. He recognizes the zone quickly. The weakness in the zone is to the outside, and that's where he throws the football to Ryan Thelwell.
6 different receivers.
But that decision that he made was a split-second decision, and he was bang on one more time.
17-yard gain there, Glenn, and that's the 6th different receiver that Dickinson has picked out of his lineup so far tonight. Low again.
Whoa!
And he's hammered this time. George White.
Oh, man.
A clear path to the quarterback.
Well, he did. He was not picked up on the outside. One more than the BC Lions had left in. And that's just no help for Dickinson. And he had no time as he turned around. George White was right there in his face. Look at, you got 5, and you've got no running backs back here to help on the blocking scheme. And here comes George White off the edge. He is free. Dickinson turns to load up, and bam, gets earhole.
7-yard loss. 2nd and 17. Dickinson goes deep, and no one was there. Simon was open over the middle, and Dickinson couldn't connect.
Well, it looked like he threw there in between Simon and Chris Brazel. Brazel was deeper, Simon was underneath, and maybe still a little shaken up from this hit from George White. And that's solid off the edge. And what you love about George White and what he did there is that he accelerated through the hit. He never broke down, he never waited, never thought he was going to get beat. He just accelerated and ran through Dickinson.
McGarity back at the 10. And Curtis Head tries to angle this one to the sideline, but it's Wayne McGarity. Couple of punt return touchdowns in the early going this season, and McGarity has the Stampeders out at about the 35.
Looked like a Calgary snowstorm in November. A whiteout.
A whiteout on the quarterback. Jim Barker using his 3rd starting quarterback of the season tonight. Scott Milanovich in his 2nd straight start. And the thoughts that the coach had about Milanovich. Doesn't care what ownership says.
Doesn't care what the fans say. This guy's who I want playing quarterback for this team. The kind of guy just wants to win. And that, you know, and you got to cut some slack for Scott Milanovich. I mean, He's in his second start here. And apparently his interceptions, he made the right read, threw it to the right guy. It just wasn't quite accurate enough.
Saladin McCullough, and he'll have 8 yards anyway. Deshaun Austin over to make the tackle. Backing up Milanovic tonight is Kevin Federick, who has been cleared to play. He is the owner's son. Cleared to play after a concussion. And in third spot in this quarterbacking rotation, Marcus Crandall, who is likely not going to see any action tonight. But Federick may have to get into the ball game, depending.
Of course, Marcus Crandall with the hamstring, and I talked to him just before the start. He said probably a week, but he doesn't want to push it. And hamstring, you can't push it. But in the meantime, Scott Milanovic has a chance to settle in, and Scott Milanovic is the type of quarterback that Jim Barker loves because of his attitude and approach. I asked Crandall about Milanovic's approach in the meetings and how he approaches the game. He said, he'll be fine. I mean, this guy's a pro. He understands what he has to do to prepare. He just needs some time to settle in. I mean, he's seeing a whole new game that he's used to.
Well, he's been in camp in Calgary for about 3 weeks, is all. On 2nd and 1, Scott Regenbald got the necessary yardage, so the Stampeders are moving the ball a little more effectively now as Milanovic settles in a bit. He's on the money right here. A breakaway opportunity is McGarity. Or Andre Arlane, 88.
That's the type of thing I'm talking about from Scott Milanovic. If he's throwing the football to the right receiver. He was just having some accuracy problems in his first game, and now he's got that accuracy. Now he's got the scope set in properly. So he's made a few adjustments this week in practice, and now that throw to Andre Arlane was bang on. I mean, that's as accurate as you can get, and Andre Arlane does a little after the fact with the football.
Longest catch of Andre Arlane's career, 52 yards, and it's huge for the Stampeders at this stage. First down, Calgary at the 15, and early movement, flags everywhere. Coming in, Andre Arlane with just 3 receptions for 26 yards. Scott Milanovic connecting for 52 with Andre Arlane here.
Well, now and finally Scott Milanovic has a chance right here to throw the football without pressure in his face. That's one of the few times in this game that defensive line for the BC Lions weren't in the backfield. He was able to settle in there, step up, and make
Calgary,
a nice throw.
Number 64, repeat first down.
Jeff Pilon was called in procedure there, so they'll have to start this one again. It'll be 1st and 15 for Calgary after that Arlane catch.
Stampeders at the BC 20 in scoring range here. Milanovic stands in, looks to the corner, and he's well out. And off the target, Milanovic ends up on the turf.
Well, you see what they're doing protection-wise now, Calgary Stampeders, and this is a double-edged sword, because if you bring more people in to help protect the quarterback, what you do, see there's one here, and then there's one on the other side. 2 running backs besides Scott Milanovic. You know what that does? That now you only have 4 receivers in the patterns. So as soon as you bring one more in to protect the quarterback, you take one out of the receiving core, and no one was open on that play.
Offensively, the Stampeders have had difficulty in the red zone, and that's where they are now. Milanovic, 2nd down, won't get it away. O'Connell will fumble. Baron Simpson has the recovery.
And I think it was Brent Johnson that came around the corner. Good, hard work and consistent effort to keep after Milanovic, and he stepped up. He was trying to wait for a receiver to open up down the field, and he just ran out of time. And this is how the pocket collapses. 97 at the top of your screen right here. See how he works around the edge? He keeps working, comes a long way, and then a one-hopper right there to Baron Simpson. Now the question was Milanovic's hands moving forward? And I say no, they were on their way back when he was hit. That's a fumble.
And Baron Simpson is there to come up with the recovery, so the Lions get it right back with a first down just outside the 20. Kelvin Anderson, Demetrius Maxey
Well, that's a big turnover for the BC Lions because it really takes some momentum away from Calgary. They were starting to crawl back into this one. Big play by George White. Nice catch by Andre Arlane. Milanovic starting to move the football, and then Johnson off the edge, number 97, coming up and around, and you can see how the coverage is good downfield. That's where the combination of secondary play and front four work together perfectly. Brent Johnson gets the stat.
Milanovic throwing 3 interceptions in that area of the field last week against Saskatchewan. This time it's a fumble.
John, that's a good point that you make. And when you do throw those interceptions like Milanovic has done, maybe you're a little more cautious. And you can see him pumping that football down there and hesitating down there. And that's when Johnson came around the corner and created this turnover. Now first down for the BC Lions compounds that.
Yeah, Jason Claremont making the reception. And the Lions get out near the 40-yard line. First down BC from the Lions 38. Dickinson throwing on the run, and he has Claremont again.
You know, and what's interesting about Dave Dickinson's ball control here is that on first down, he may be still throwing the football, but it's this little controlled passes. You can see how there's Jason Claremont. He comes up like he's going to block and then releases out into the pattern. Just a little high percentage throw for Dave Dickinson. Pick up good yardage on first down, and now my playbook is wide open on 2nd and short.
This is 2nd and 5 at the Lions 43. Five receiver set. Dickinson near side. G-Roy Simon brings another one down. What a year this guy is having. G-Roy Simon. He's done it all for the BC Lions since arriving here this year. Terrific to see renewed enthusiasm here in British Columbia. Wendy's Friday Night Football from Hamilton, where the Alouettes in town, and that'll be the second half of this series with Montreal winning tonight 30-17. We'll have highlights for you at halftime.
Boys break that one down in the first half of this game. And that's the second half of that home and home. And these times the Hamilton Tiger Cats are going to rise up and have a game, and it might just be that one.
Dickinson, good fake, and he takes off, sliding safely over there.
And that time he went down hard on the hand, John. And you know he's a competitor, and he wants that first down more than anything. But he was mad at himself that he didn't hook slide. He got outside on a nice fake to Lyle Green right there, and now he's got the corner and he's out and around. But right at this point, he picks up the first down, toughness, and you can see how he goes down on the left hand, and he was super upset with himself because of it. Right here, that left hand has to break his fall, and you know that was painful.
Dickinson has 13 yards there. And another Lions first down. Stampeders came up with a big play from George White defensively about this area of the turf last time. Rutolo had one hand on it. Dickinson had him for a brief second. Talking about G-Roy Simon doing it all. The receptions we've talked about. He has also thrown 3 passes in the CFL, and 2 of those have gone for touchdowns, including one this year.
That's a nice completion percentage on its own. Well, they do that series, and this is how last week versus Toronto, the G-Roy Simon got a touchdown running. It was a throw from Spurgeon Wynn behind the line of scrimmage, and he ran it for 88 yards for touchdown, but that's the same formation that he will throw the ball, so it puts the defense in a bit of a bind.
2nd and 10 Lions, just inside the Calgary 50. Dickinson hurried that a little bit.
Well, he had Brazel, and he just, you know, it looked like he threw off his wrong foot, and he just, his mechanics kind of fell apart right at the end of that play, and it may have had something to do with the guy that he was looking right at as he was coming around that corner, and guess who it was? George White. And he just, I'm getting that thing out of there, and his mechanics kind of fell apart, and so did that football, and just hit the turf.
George White, Western Rookie of the Year in the 2000 season, the same year that Dave Dickinson was the outstanding player in the Canadian Football League.
And George White was a Saskatchewan Rough Rider at the time.
McGarity is deep. Curtis Head angles it to the 5, and there'll be no return possible there. 2 minutes till halftime. The Lions continue with a 9-point lead. Less than 2 minutes to the half, and the Lions have the Stampeders pinned deep in Calgary territory. First down, Calgary at the 7. Winovich, the good fake, wide open receiver. He'll get a first down here. McDonald. Chadrick Chris forced him out.
You know, Jim Barker has seen his offense start to progress as this game's gone on. First quarter, 0 first downs. Tons of pressure from just 4 rushers from the BC Lions. And now Barker's watching his offense start to get things going. Some adjustments have already been made. There'll be more at halftime to get some pressure off Milanovic.
Milanovic has another strike. It's McDonald again. Darnell McDonald. And Chris was on the tackle there again. Number 21, Chadrick Chris.
Certain that Wally Buono will first check with the medical staff of the BC Lions and find out how his starting quarterback Dave Dickinson is feeling, especially after he went down on that left hand. Now he stayed in the game and seems okay. That will be his first concern. So far, this is a football team that has moved to football and just hasn't put the points on the board that they'd like.
Rochelle flank to the near side for Calgary on second down. McCullough was the intended receiver, and he didn't turn around quickly enough for the pass from Scott Milanovic.
Well, guys, the update on Dave Dickinson is no update. He wouldn't take any treatment from trainer Bill Rochelle when he walked over after the last series, so Dickinson is fine. He's going to go back in the game. We talked about the glove on the left hand. The reason he's got the glove is he's very concerned about being able to grip the ball on quick, short passes. On the deeper drops, he has time to get a good grip on the ball as he's dropping back, but it's harder on short balls. So far, it seems to have adjusted quite well as the half has progressed.
Just a pain factor for Dave Dickinson. When he puts his hand down to brace himself, that pain just shoots up that arm, I'm sure.
And the Lions will have field position with 1:14 to go on a possession here. Following this return, Simon broke a couple, and he's out across the 45 to about the 47. G-Roy Simon. Charles Assman making the tackle there.
There's Alonzo Johnson. If there's anyone in the league who can talk the talk and walk the walk, it's been him. He didn't talk a lot yesterday. He's coming off a groin injury. Now he's had back spasm, and that doesn't look, as you can see, that he has any intention of jumping back into the game soon, guys.
And what happens there when you have a groin injury or leg injury, you'll compensate the way you walk, the way you run. And even if you're practicing and the groin feels all right, now your back's out of alignment. You don't realize till you get in the game.
And they'll miss him on this sequence by the Lions as Dickinson goes down. This time, though, Maxey is through. The combination of Demetrius Maxey and Joe Fleming has really put a lot of pressure on opposition offenses, but Monroe was also there, too.
That's right, John. And across the board, and you got Joe Fleming leading the way with 7 sacks, 17 total from this front 4 and front 7. And Fleming's the leader, but they're all starting to get balanced now. Demetrius Maxey has 1. Now that's the 3rd for Aries Monroe, so he's starting to climb up in that total. But it's the overall pressure package improved tremendously from a year ago.
Dickinson looks at 2nd and 19, and he looks deep. Brazel has it. He heads to the end zone. These Lions have a lot of receivers who can make big plays.
You remember when Dave Dickinson a series ago stepped up in the pocket, his mechanics fell apart a little bit. The target on that play, on that incompletion, was Chris Brazel. I guarantee you they went back to that bench and said, we got him. You want to do that same pattern, just go straight down the field, right in the middle on the hash mark. I'll throw it up and over. You go get it. That's exactly what Brazel did.
72-yard touchdown. Dickinson to Chris Brazel.
Now, first of all, Dickinson needs time to throw a football this deep. I mean, this is Dave Dickinson now. He's got Kelvin Anderson on the right side right there. He's got good protection, time to throw it. He gets it up and over, and watch the finish. I mean, Chris Brazel just out-jumps Lawrence Deck, Callie Malvo, and Chase.
And Alondra Johnson wasn't there in the middle, was he?
Yeah, and Alondra Johnson wasn't in on this blitz, and no one was from the Stampeders. As you see, Dickinson has time to step up. Mechanics perfect on that one. And there's Brazel. See, I told you, get back on that hash mark. Here's the hash marks right here. And just run straight down there. I'll throw it up for you. And you just go up and over top and pull it down. That's some kind of play. Malbrough is actually the defensive back. He's up over him and Lawrence Deck. And he just out-jumps both of them for the football.
5th catch of the night for Chris Brazel. He has 108 total yards, but most of it came here on a 72-yard touchdown. His first of the night, 2nd on the season. Stampeders have 30 seconds. Rochelle returning to about the 25.
You know, this coaching staff, Calgary Stampeders, do not have a lot of experience. Chris Brazel, 5 catches, 108 yards already, and Jaime Hill right there in the middle of your screen. In that face and that expression, you know, that right there, you can tell the frustration there. He's got some work to do at halftime, and some of that inexperience shows through as this BC receiving core now starts to take advantage of that secondary.
Well, and you look at the Stampeders offensively, 6 punts and 1 fumble in the opening half. Time for Milinovich, and he fired that one behind his target. That was Don Blair.
See the difference Dave Dickinson makes in a football game. Back in 253 in the first half, on pace for a 500-yard day, and Milinovich still trying to handle that pressure. Now they've tried to go with the screen pass, and when they've done that, the linebacking core for BC has been there to cover the running back. Quick passing game has worked a little bit. One throw to Andre Arlene is really all they've had offensively.
2nd and 10, shotgun. Milinovich, McGarity for a couple, and that's all with 16 seconds on the clock. He's noted as a pocket passer, Milinovich, #1 in Maryland University history. But when you look at his pro career, it's always been as a backup. So he's getting his first opportunity to get back.
University of Maryland, John, one of his teammates was G. Simon, and I asked Simon about Scott Milinovich before the game. He said, boy, if he has time to understand the Canadian Football League, he will be a keeper, I guarantee you. And they were teammates. He said, one year I had 77 catches from Scott Milinovich, and he said in one game I had 16 versus Florida State.
Duncan O'Mahony standing inside his 15.
Heads up, heads up.
Leroy Simon can't stay in bounds after making the catch, and 10 seconds remain on the clock till halftime.
You know, with one quick throw, the BC Lions could get into field goal range. You know, one more look at Chris Brazel's athletic ability. You know, and this from a secondary point of view. First of all, you've lost a bit of a step. Now Lawrence Deck is so worried about trying to catch up to Brazel, he doesn't even realize that the football is dropped in there, and then he's got to try and recover from that. But with one throw here, Dave Dickinson of about 15 yards can put his field goal kicker in position.
Unofficially, 10 seconds on the clock. It's another first down for Dave Dickinson and the Lions. Back at the 47. Pump fake.
There it is.
And he's got first down yardage to G. Roy Simon. 2 seconds on the clock, and there you go. The opportunity for a field goal attempt here.
And that's exactly what he needed. And Geroy Simon knows one thing. If he continues to work, and you can see how he uses his eyes to just keep finding the open area. Quick glance here, keep working. I know he'll find me sooner or later. And Dickinson steps up in the pocket, does that, and that's exactly the throw they needed. Intermediate throw over the middle. Curtis Head comes into the football game.
This will be spotted at the 46 for Curtis Head. And he's 2 for 2. Great opening half for the BC Lions, without question.
It certainly helps Wally Buono to have Dave Dickinson back. He looks right back where he left off. He only missed one game, and it doesn't show at all.
Well, he was telling us yesterday it's just another game. We didn't believe him for a second.
I don't. It's not just another game for either of these teams, and Curtis Head has made a little comeback from that Toronto miss a week ago.
It's halftime in Vancouver.
And that means it's time for us to earn a little bit of money here. Dave Raynor, Chris Schultz, Matt Dunnigan, Jock Climby. A 9-point game it was just a couple of minutes ago. And BC explodes for 10 quick ones in the last few moments of that half. Chris Brazel had a 101-yard touch reception last year when he was with the Edmonton Eskimos against Calgary. Jason Moss certainly remembers that one. And he strikes again with his longest reception of the season. It is 20-1. Dave Dickinson has got it going again.
He sure is. And Dave, I'm going to do something that's normally reserved for my buddy down here to my left, and that's Chris Schultz likes to usually talk about pain. Well, I'm going to talk a little about pain and what it is to play with pain as a professional athlete. And, you know, Dave Dickinson has been doing it. Carl Kidd has been doing it. These guys are playing with pins, holding together their bones. And folks, this is not like going to the office with the sniffles. This is something quite apart from that. This is a situation where most pro athletes, when they're out there playing with pain, are thinking not about, oh, it hurts. They're thinking more about the fact that if I do something to this injury and I miss more games after this injury, then that's what I'm really worried about. So as football players, you put the pain to the side and you think merely about preserving yourself so you can go on, Matty, and play the next week and the week after that. And that's what these guys are doing right now, and hats off to them.
Well, here's the thing. You talk about pain. You also have a limited roster in the Canadian Football League. So if you're beat up, you go on that football field and you play. And one guy who's playing with a lot of pain is Scott Milinovich. I want to show you the details of an offensive play. Watch this. Square Saladin McCullough there, Matt, or give him a big fat circle, because watch this screen pass. He is not going to do anything right there. Again, Brent Johnson. See where Brent Johnson, right beside Saladin, has a free route to the quarterback? Who tips the ball? It's Brent Johnson. All Saladin McCullough had to do was give him a shot, give him a little bit of pain to keep those hands down, and that wouldn't be a tip pass. That was not a Milinovich problem. That was a Saladin McCullough problem. A perfect example of how the quarterback, that was not his play. That was the running back that should have done something.
Offensive precision, Schultz, and blocking, and it's all got to work tandemly. And, you know, Calgary needs a little more pressure on Dave Dickinson, obviously, because he's going to work on him right now. Well, in the second quarter there, we saw a stunt by the Calgary Stampeders, and it's a beautiful thing. Here you've got the 5 offensive linemen for the BC Lions, and I want to count these guys. There's only 5 rushing for the Calgary Stampeders, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's George White, who makes a play. And the thing that's beautiful about this is they've got 4 of the Calgary Stampeders on this side of the ball. So what do? They take Monroe, shorten the corner by stunting him in here, and they take George White, and he gets to Dickinson. Watch this unfold. This is a great stunt. They're only rushing 5, but they overload the one side, and George White has a clean shot to the quarterback. They need to do a lot more of this, Dave, in the second half if they're going to catch up to the BC Lions.
Well, on that theme of pain, I think you saw the pained look at Coach Barker's expression. A terrible last couple of minutes, because with Ottawa getting a huge win last night against Saskatchewan, the pressure's on Calgary. They got to get some wins if they want to get a crossover playoff spot. It's still early, but the pressure is on.
In the CFL is brought to you by Sport Check, Canada's largest sporting goods retailer. Sport Check, the best value.
August 8th, 1991, the Lions were at McMahon Stadium, and Doug Flutie and Matt Clark were putting on a show early in this game. A long reception here leads to a 1st and goal situation, and those two are going to finish off the drive. Flutie to Clark for the juggling catch, touchdown. But late in the game, the veteran Alondra Johnson is going to read Flutie perfectly and intercept him right there. Flutie will try to make a desperation tackle, but will just miss as AJ gets to the end zone and the Stamps win it 34-30. And AJ is part of this ball game tonight, although hurting right now. Here are the halftime numbers, Matt.
Yeah, that's right. Another BC Lions quarterback going off tonight. Dave Dickinson getting the job done. He's starting to heat up, folks. Looks like it could be a long night for the Calgary Stampede.
Here's Farhan Lalji with Lions head coach Wally Buono.
Well, Coach, 10 points inside the final 32 seconds. Nice way for your team to end the half.
Well, our team, I thought, has played very well. Obviously, you know, Dave's made a big difference, and defensively, they're really getting after it.
Yeah, and talk about the play of Dave. He seems to have not missed a beat, but he did take some shots late in that half on the hand.
Well, again, Dave's pretty tough, and he felt very comfortable coming into the game. The doctors reassured him that if things were going to be okay for him.
Good luck in the second half.
Thank you.
And that's good news. Pretty good crowd tonight at BC Place. This is not Manchester United and Real Madrid.
It's ball game day, baby. The Friday night football game. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Solid opening half for Wally Buono and the BC Lions. Not so for the Calgary Stampeders. Here's Perry.
Coach, tough final 30 seconds. What adjustments do you make in the second half?
Well, obviously, we were poor on offense in the first half. You play like that, you're not going to win football games, so we've got to find a way to make something happen and then not give up big plays on defense.
Give you QB more time?
Excuse me?
Need to give you QB more time?
No, we're going to make a change.
There you go, guys. New guy in.
Oh, looking down the chart, that would be Kevin Federick. If what we were told yesterday comes true, number 7, the lefty.
And he's warming up on the bench. But the question was a good one from Perry, which was, are you going to give him some more time? And you can't really fault Scott Milanovic for what happened in that first half. He was under the gun a bunch, and it was just 4-man rush from the Lions.
He doesn't get any more time, at least for now. He gets the clipboard. Stampeders will begin on offense with McGarrity's return out about the 33-yard line, and Kelly Lockbaum leading the BC tacklers there. So Milanovic looks like this as he stacks up against Dave Dickinson, and not well at all. 100 total yards, 50% passing, but Dickinson has the touchdown.
Yeah, and the 100 yards is going to get you pulled from a game, but again, it's the ultimate team game. And when you're under the gun and it's 4-man pressure, Scott Milanovic has to look down and he sees a whole bunch of people back there covering his receivers because it's just 4-man pressure. Didn't have a whole lot of help. We'll see if Kevin Federick does.
Federick unloads in a hurry, and it's dropped. Oh, Don Blair has to make a catch. Last week, no catches for Blair. 18 on the season. And when he's a guy that you really have to count on for his experience, you can't have situations like that arise, Glenn.
Well, you can't. And Don Blair, a catch like that or a drop like that is that's what the quarterbacks need when they're struggling. They need that catch. They need 2nd and 5.
Well,
is what
they had
need.
the play.
And again, you can't fault the quarterback. The ball was right on the money.
2nd and 10, Stampeders. Federick looks the other way, and he won't get this one away. The ball squirts loose. I do believe he was down, although Baron Simpson says it was loose first as Brent Johnson got to the quarterback there.
See a lot of the same. They're going to go with a bit of a stun up front. And here's Jacobs inside, and coming around the corner is Baron Simpson. And then once more, Brent Johnson is involved. And he gets the football, but they're calling Kevin Federick down. Again, Milanovic is standing on the sideline watching, but he's watching Kevin Federick, and it's a lot of the same for the Calgary Stampeders early.
Another sack by Ray Jacobs. That's 5 in 2 games. They're actually 5 in a game and a half. He had 3 last week, and Omani is in. Leroy Simon looking at his chops again as he waits for this. Mike Patillo returning for BC. Comes to the near side. In the corner, Patillo across midfield. Still going. Lost the ball. Lions get it right back. Jacobs is there again. This guy has been terrific for BC.
What an addition he has been. I mean, first of all, a nice return. from Frank Cutola, and then he just puts the ball on the ground at the end of it. But Ray Jacobs with great hustle. Now remember, Jacobs has to block coming around, and then he recovers his fumble. Here's Cutola getting to the wall. He's outside of the wall. Jacobs is hustling. He's made his block. Ball goes on the ground right here, and there's Jacobs. That's okay. I'm right with you.
Following up on the play, and Willie Fells was there and ready to recover for Calgary. Jacobs got to it first. So here are the Lions again, set up after a nice return. Calgary 40. And here's Kelvin Anderson, the ex-Stampeder, and a huge haul. Kelvin Anderson looks to the end zone. Can't quite get there. Out at the 1.
That's the one he wanted. That's the one he's wanted. That's the one he's been lying in his bed dreaming about. And he did it at the beginning of the season. The moment he signed on the dotted line with the BC Lions, he looked at the schedule. He saw this calendar day, and he said, okay, this is the one I'm going to visualize from that moment till this one. And he visualizes in his mind. He sits back and says, I'll show him. It's a pretty nice run.
39 yards for Calvin Anderson, the ex-Stampeder, sets the Lions up at the 1-yard line. First down from there. And Spurgeon Wynn is at the controls for this. The Lions unable to penetrate as the Stampeders defense comes up big again. They've done that a couple of times so far in this game. Kept the Lions from coming up with a first down. And this keeping the Lions out of the end zone.
And Dave Dickinson will watch down the goal line there, but here's Dave Dickinson's production in the first half. You can see those yellow ones are the ones that matter most. And sometimes punting is not necessarily a bad thing, depending on where you are.
Second and goal to go. Lions at the Stampeder 1. And Kelvin Anderson got the call. He doesn't make it.
Oh boy. Well, decision time now for Wally Buono. And remember, the BC Lions early in the game had 2 short yardage plays turned away, and it was a turnover by downs. And now it's Wally Buono who has to try and block out the crowd. It's a good-sized crowd here in BC Place tonight. Has to block out the crowd and make a decision. He's going to go for it.
Lions have a 19-point lead at 20-1. Buono has made the correct call. Goal to go from the 1. Spurgeon in over the top. He's got it.
And he made sure of it. He wasn't down. He was lying on top of the pile. He kept battling, but his first extension, John, is what you're talking about, and that was a touchdown. The ball just has to cross the front plane of the goal line. Certainly did that when Wynn went over the top.
Well, and Buono's decision is correct. I mean, obviously, in hindsight, he's into the end zone, but if he doesn't get the touchdown, he leaves the Stampeders at the 1.
Yeah, 109 yards away from the opposite end zone. Absolutely, with his defense playing great football.
Hey, look, when you look at him,
I agree 100%. It's a great call, and it really puts one more nail in the you-know-what for the Stampeders.
BC Lions in complete control. It's Spurgeon Wynn. Up, and away. Touchdown, Lions.
They're ready to play. Are you?
Kelvin Anderson makes a huge play for his new team. And that was set up after a great return by Frank Cutola.
Well, returns all night long for the BC Lions. Special teams, a bit of a problem over the last couple of weeks, but they've certainly made some corrections there. And that set up this play to Kelvin Anderson.
31 yards there, 39 for Kelvin Anderson. Almost into the end zone. But the Lions sealed the deal on 3rd and 1. Rochelle to the 31. And that's where the Stampeders begin. Ron Okami making the tackle there. 16 on the return.
Spurgeon wins. See how he extends that football up across the plane of the goal line and then keeps battling because he never did touch his knee on the ground.
He really scored it 3 times there, didn't he? First career touchdown for Spurgeon Wynn.
Kelvin Anderson sets it up. That was a great cutback that he comes across. That running play hit the left side of the line. He cut all the way back across. That's just instinct from Kelvin Anderson.
So here are the Stampeders on their second quarterback tonight. Federick has Blair. And Carl Kidd wrapped him up.
Yeah, and you know, that's the guy I wanted to make a point of, and that's Carl Kidd. And we talked earlier about him playing with both hands broken, and he has been inspirational, an inspirational leader on his football team to just be playing tonight, but let alone be playing well tonight. And he is banged up. Talk about a guy who's in pain. He can't protect that hand either. He's in the mix. He's in there battling.
He's a linebacker is what he is.
That's what he is.
With 2 broken fingers and playing. Federick on 2nd and 4. Jacobs has him in the sights, and Federick turns the corner.
You see Ray Jacobs. See, now Ray Jacobs caught a peek of Rochelle just at the last second. The receiver was trying to come back and make a block, and Jacobs was in pursuit of Federick. He's going to come all the way around the corner. There he is right here. Now watch him as he comes down, and he's going to chase. And Rochelle's going to come down, try to blindside him, 85, and he notices right at the last second. He says, I see you coming back, and he throws him to the ground. Showing off. Okay, that didn't work well.
Federick got it away in a hurry. He's already turned the corner. He's short of the first down. Positive yardage nonetheless as Eric Carter got over to make the tackle. So Federick has been able to move this Stampeder offense at least a little bit.
Yeah, and he's using his legs to do it. You saw the one that Ray Jacobs was in pursuit. And this is one. Let me show it to you one more time. We didn't get a chance to show you what he did to Rochelle. Watch this. Laterio will show you. Get out of there. You know, if you're going to make that hit, you make sure that the big guy doesn't see you coming.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3 Calgary. Trailing 27-1. There was early movement. There was no flag. McCullough.
And
Cameron Legault was there.
Kevin Federick thought there should be a flag, and he read the official. And you know, the Calgary Stampeders really have not been able to establish a running game, and this has been a big part of their season, because when they do run the ball well, they win. I mean, there you go right there. 2 wins, 151 yards rushing the football per game. And the 5 losses, that drops to 60.8 per game. There's the difference, folks, right there. You got to be running the ball and have balance in your offense. They haven't been able to do it.
26 yards so far tonight won't get the job done. O'Mani is in. At his own 38.
Sooner or later, they're going to hit a middle return.
Lions have been trying to set that up. Well punted by Duncan O'Mani, and there's no chance for a return for Curtolo on the far side after a 43-yard punt. Well, it's been an interesting season in Calgary, has it not? Fred Fateri, the vice chairman of the Stampeders, has been right in the middle of things.
Yeah, it's a different type of situation. I mean, different than what's the norm in football, to have your vice chairman right on the bench. He talks to the head coach, Jim Barker. He talks to the players. It's talking to the officials right now. It's very different and not, you know, sort of the normal scenario for football team.
Well, it's very different to have a vice chairman as far as I'm concerned.
Oh!
Dickinson is hammered, and the play is whistled down. It was no...
That was Big Joe.
There. Joe Fleming got it there.
You know, and Big Joe's had enough. Joe Fleming, you know, if there's going to be, here he is right here on the edge, and if there's going to be a new movie, it'd be Terminator 4, and Fleming would be the starring role. He'd get the starring role, because things go bad at times for Fleming. We saw him get hit in the game last week, but he just keeps coming. Every play, every single time, just like the Terminator, he'll come after you. And there he makes a play there for Calgary.
League leader in quarterback sacks with 7 coming into this one tonight. 2nd and 10 for Dickinson and the Lions. Simon again. And Dickinson is down.
And he was hit, and Dickinson slow to get up, and that was Fleming again. And this time Fleming hesitated. Now he's getting fired up, and he's trying to get his entire team fired up. And watch Fleming come this time. Here he is right here. And you take a look. He hesitates for a second at the line of scrimmage and then goes. And that ball is out there. And that's right on the right arm this time. And down goes Dickinson. And take a look and see if that was late or not. Little hesitation there. Ball's out now. Now it's in slow motion. 1, 2. He
Dickinson
delivers.
up in a hurry and stands in after throwing for the first down. Good fake by Dickinson, rolling out.
He took another one.
Takes another hit. Chris Brazell makes the catch.
But Joe Fleming, John, is a competitor, and he has just had enough of his football team not performing to their capabilities. So here's Fleming trying to make something happen from a defensive line position, and then right after that, he got up and was barking at his teammates. And he's a really controlled football player. He's out there, he very seldom says a whole lot of things. He'll just go and play. But he's talking now to his teammates. He's trying to get the signal from the sideline and get lined up properly. But he's trying to fire him up.
Brazel has 9 yards.
And all that talking, and that got his teammate Alondra Johnson fired up, because after Fleming started talking to Johnson, he said, oh, I can get involved in this. And he's the one who delivers the blow on Dickinson.
2nd down and 1, and Spurgeon Wynn has the first down for the BC Lions. Sliding behind the left side there, and it was a lot easier getting the first down there than getting the touchdown from a yard out a few moments ago.
Yeah, I love the decision by the coaching staff of the Lions to have Spurgeon Wynn come in short yardage, because that's a hit that is unnecessary for Dave Dickinson. Because on short yards, quarterback gets hit. That's the bottom line, because he's taking the ball, he's going up into the line, and that's how Danny McManus got hurt in the preseason in Hamilton.
Well, and you're not surprising the defense with what you're going to do in a situation like that.
Absolutely not. Plus, Spurgeon Wynn is a big physical quarterback.
6'3". Dickinson on first down. Receiver open far side. That's Thelwell right at midfield and stopped there. Ryan Thelwell.
And you know, Dave Dickinson he's not as big as Spurgeon Wynn by any means. I mean, if you see Dave Dickinson in his street clothes, you would ask him what he does for a living.
And guess that he might be an accountant.
Well, he's the most unassuming athlete you will see. And yet he steps on the football field and he's just dynamite. I mean, and almost unstoppable. And tough as nails. You saw some of the hits he's taken.
Lions look at 2nd and 1. Dickinson looks to put it up. He'll have the first down. Claremont is having a night. Jason Claremont stopped by Jason Bray.
Just think of the confidence that a receiving corps will have when Dave Dickinson is the quarterback, because now they run down the field and it just puts a little more jump in their step, because they know when they make that break, the ball will be on time. Very seldom will Dickinson leave a receiver hanging, like with a high throw that he's got to expose his ribs to try and bring down.
It's the Lions by a bunch at 27-1. And Dickinson looks to add to that total here with another first down after a 15-yard gain. He's got time. Lost the ball. It might be a fumble and was stripped there. And it looks like the Stampeders have recovered. So Dickinson had time and used up a little too much of it, Glenn.
Yeah, it's when he stepped up in the pocket. It looked like it was stripped out of there. Turnover for Calgary. See if they can come up with some points on the turnover right there.
Definitely a strip. 1st and 10 Calgary when we return.
Dave Dickinson throwing the football to you. It makes a big difference, and he has been on.
A little disappointed with himself for the turnover moments ago, but he should feel fairly confident with a 27-1 lead and 4:49 to go till three-quarter time.
Oh yeah, and the play of his defense. I mean, he's sitting over there on the sideline right now, completely confident that his defense will do their job, and they have all game long.
Federick, McCullough, nice tackle by Ron Akami.
Kevin Federick is just off that concussion, and he's, you know, those are ones they're obviously very careful with to make sure, and all the testing they can do now. Scott Milanovic started the game, played a half, and was pulled at halftime. 100 yards passing from Milanovic, and was under pressure all game long. And of course, Marcus Crandall to his left with the hamstring problem. He can't get in the game really.
2nd and 3. Not this time. Stampeders have introduced a lot of quarterbacks to the Canadian Football League through the 90s in particular, including the guy they're going against tonight, and had an opportunity to sign Dave Dickinson, but the Stampeders did not go after him very seriously.
That guy too, Henry Burris. And when you look at that list, that's what Calgary fans are used to. And now that, you know, Dave Dickinson, one of them, and now they're struggling at the position because they have inexperience with Marcus Crandall now on the bench with a hamstring. There's inexperience at the spot.
Duncan O'Mahony's 9th punt tonight. Stampeders have only a single on the board. T-Roy Simon looks for the block. Not this time, but he's been close to breaking it all night long. Otis Floyd leading the tacklers. A 35-yard punt. Dickinson coming into the game.
I told you he was tough as nails, John, and this is some of the hits that he has taken. Sometimes he stands in there and gets the ball out. Sometimes he doesn't, but he doesn't mind taking a hit to make sure he can move the football team. And there's been some big ones. Playing with a broken finger himself and just jumps right back up.
Most of that in the second half when the Stampeders got a little more angry. Dickinson stands in on first down. Kelvin Anderson to about the 41-yard line. Sheldon Pastuk making the tackle there. Stampeders are pleased with the year that he's having. Pastuk has made some plays and helped in a backup role along that defensive line.
Yeah, you can see the blood down in his jersey, and that's what you got to love about this game. I mean, these guys are down, but they're still fighting. And the defensive line, from the leadership of Joe Fleming, that is infectious all the way along that line. The Pastuk he's playing hard.
2nd and 5, shotgun. Dickinson. Oh, almost picked up as a flag goes down. And there was pressure on Dickinson, and Anthony Pryor almost had it.
Well, Anthony Pryor jumped it. Anthony Pryor, Kelvin Anderson was the receiver, so he knew that it was going to be a pretty simple cut. Running backs aren't quite as intricate with their patterns as
BC,
receivers.
number 28, penalties decline, 3rd down.
And Dickinson had to get it out of there, so he just was one time to Kelvin Anderson, who lines up as the wide receiver here, gets it out of there and takes another big hit. This time from Otis Floyd.
Well, we were expecting a war tonight after we talked to Stampeders defensive coordinator Jim Daly. We just thought the Stampeders might have a few more bullets in their arsenal. So far, just 1 point. But the Stampeders have administered a few big hits, partner.
They certainly have. Now Kevin Federick has to try and hit them down the field.
Stampeders beginning at the 35, still looking for the first Calgary major of the night. Pass completes, but there was nowhere for Rochelle to go. Carl Kidd was there waiting.
And see, he's fired up. See, he's over there talking to his teammates. That time he went over there and made the tackle. And, you know, he hated to be out of the game. And Baron Simpson's in the middle. He's flying around making things happen. He's calling the defenses. And this defense has really stepped up in this game against inexperienced quarterbacks.
Gain of 4, 2nd and 6, Calgary. Federick moves to the shotgun. Standing in, good pass right at midfield. McGarity makes the catch, and that'll be a Stampeder first down.
Well, that was a nice throw, and what he did is he read Carl Kidd and he read Baron Simpson in the middle, and now he's just got to pick. There's Carl Kidd. He just takes a look at Carl Kidd, looks at his drop, and throws it just inside a Kidd and just outside a Baron Simpson 51, right in the hole between the two of them.
16-yard gain. Stampeders at midfield. McCullough. He makes a good move at the line, and McCullough has a first down, forced out near the 40 by Mark Washington.
That was a pretty nice cut. You know, that was Saladin McCullough just changed gears, but he did it at full speed. He stepped in the line and made that directional change without hesitation, and that's why he bounced out to the outside.
12 carries, 69 yards, and a losing cause last week. He has a 5-yard average. Federick has them on the move. No flags. McDonald was the intended receiver, and the coverage was extremely tight. Darnell McDonald talking to one of the officials down there.
Well, and, you know, and here it is. Shad Chris is the defensive back. Here's your two principals on the play, and that's good coverage. One-on-one coverage, got one hand up. Darnell McDonald is pushing off, and the way you get the flag there if you're a receiver is if you put your hands up and go for the ball, and Shad Chris's hands are still on you.
Yeah, it didn't work for Terry. He's got his hands up.
He wanted the call, didn't get it, and shouldn't have.
2nd and 10. Federick stands in, gets it away, but it'll be short of the first down by a bunch. Don Blair made the catch. Derek Lewis the tackle.
And that was just a situation where Kevin Federick just didn't have the right play called for the defense that was out there, because all but one of the patterns that he had, all the one is the routes down the field, were short of the first down by a couple of yards. So he didn't have any option. The only one that was deeper than first down territory was on the wide side of the field, opposite of the direction that he scrambled up out of the pocket. So just the play call alone really handcuffed him on that one.
Mark McLaughlin in for his first field goal of the evening. It'll be a 47-yard try. McLaughlin hitting on 83%, his longest on the season, 45. Should be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Smooth stroke. McLaughlin has his first. A 42-yard field goal, I should say, not 47. Final play, 3rd quarter. Long way back for the Stampeders if they don't get touchdowns soon.
Well, it got a little bit closer there with that field goal, 27-4. You know, in recent times, Calgary BAC has meant a real war, and this is a physical football game tonight. But we were all surprised that there was no war of words leading up to it. No yapping like there usually is between these two.
Well, you know, Dave, football players can be as politically correct as the next person, and all week they have been minding their P's and Q's. But we were listening in during the commercial break earlier, and we saw the true colors come out, as you're going to see Carl Kidd do a little talking for Dave Dickinson, the next Stampeder, and then Kelvin Anderson will do his own talking.
Thank y'all for giving us Ray Jacob, and thank y'all for calling out Dave Dickinson. Look like to me we got the best quarterback in the league. It's worth the money. For sure. For sure. Hold it down. What's up, Calgary? Y'all all right? You know I'm still the man. I'm still the man.
You don't think he's feeling it tonight? He is feeling it tonight.
Yeah, Jack, he's loving it. He's loving to put it back in the Calgary Stampeders' face. And I'm a little worried about what's happening right now with Dave Dickinson still being in the football game. As soon as Spurgeon went in for the 1-yard score, and they went up 27-1. Dave Dickinson said, get him out, give Spurgeon some opportunity. And he starts taking hits. Here's 3 hits in a row. Now, this is actually a late hit by Fleming. And then he rolls out, and he takes 1 hit by one of the harder hitters in the league, Alondra Johnson. Dave Dickinson taking some punishment. You saw Glenn Suter show you a little highlight package of him taking all the hits. Those were 3 in a row in the 3rd quarter after they're up 27-1, Schulte. And, you know, I expect to see Spurgeon win this football game.
I would have gotten
you don't think you don't think the Wally's rubbing it in just a little bit?
A little bit, but
I don't know.
I would have gotten that quarterback out of there a lot earlier. I think Jim Barker's got some really difficult decisions. He really committed to Scott Milanovic. He hasn't proved out to be their quarterback. Kevin Federick has come in, looked okay, but understand this. He's not coming in as a starting quarterback. He's coming in with a 26-point lead. Marcus Crandall's still the guy. Guess who BC gets to play next week? The Calgary Stampeders. Again, Calgary's got to find themselves a quarterback, or it's going to be one long season, Dave. That's
this is game number 2 of 7 straight against the Western Division opponents for the Calgary Stampeders. They're coming in 0-2 against the West in this one. And unless something big happens, they're going to be 0-3 when this one's done.
Little doubt about it that the West is the power in the CFL at this point in this season. Saskatchewan at 5-3, Winnipeg at 5-3, and BC a quarter away from joining that group in a 3-way tie for top spot.
I would say the West and Montreal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
As the Alouettes go to 7-1 with their victory.
Yeah, and look at these numbers. I mean, that's what the guys are talking about. And when, you know, you put 304 on the board, you got 27 points, you've got a 23-point lead. And I agree 100% with Matt Dunnigan. You know, Dave Dickinson has done a great job, and don't risk it now. You know, and Spurgeon Wynn gets a few more reps. Leroy Simon, another 100-yard game.
Should add in the Argos at 4-3, and the Ottawas winning a game.
Yeah, that's a big win for them. Congratulations
for the
to the
Renegades.
Renegades. And, you know, the Saskatchewan Roughriders have a very good football team and will bounce back, but it's a big win for Ottawa.
Leroy Simon has another catch. Kelly Malvo another tackle.
Just to expand on that thought from Matt Dunnigan, and that is that, you know, Wally Buono has been in this league a long time, and the only thing I could think of is that he likely knows and has seen big leads evaporate in a hurry. Now, there's nothing in this game right now that would indicate that the Calgary Stampeders will do that because of the way the BC defense is playing and the way his quarterback, Dave Dickinson, is playing. However, I would think maybe it's just one more series for Dickinson. But it is one too many. That's the question.
Dickinson reloads. A one-handed catch on the far side by Glatt. But he was well out of bounds and with helmet off and standing there just waiting.
We've seen him take the punishment, John, and those were big hits, but it's the one that he gets that left hand and that finger caught in a face mask. And sometimes it's your own player. Like, it could be an offensive lineman that's back blocking for you, and you just go to throw the football, and then that hand gets caught in the face mask, and you turn at the wrong time. And, man, I tell you what, that's the one thing that puts Dave Dickinson out for a month or more. Right, and that's where the gamble comes in.
Well, we should be listening to Matt Dunnigan. He's got it right.
I agree.
Flags will fly on the return as McGarity tries to duck under the downfield tacklers of the BC Lions. Federick 1st and 10 when we come back. Tyrone Williams leading the BC Lions in sacks on the season, although Ray Jacobs is closing in, coming into the game with 5 as Williams. Montreal leading the way with 31. Saskatchewan closing there for every sack in tonight's game. So far we have 4. Purelator will contribute the quarterback's weights in food to the Vancouver Food Bank. So far, many tons have been contributed thanks to Purelator. Here's Federick.
You know, and that's a lot of sacks on the season, and John, there's been a lot of hits in this game, and they don't go down as the sack, but these quarterbacks are getting pounded after the fact. Scott Milanovic was hit a bunch in that first half, and Ray Jacobs was a big part of that. He was getting a little 0-2 on the sideline right now and a breather. He's on all those teams as well, and the special teams. What an improvement for them for the BC Lions in tonight's game.
Jacobs 3 sacks last week and 2 here tonight. So he's caught his teammate Tyrone Williams in 2 games. Jacobs has. Federick on 2nd and 5. Open target. He'll get a first down out of this. Darnell McDonald the catch. Shedrick Chris forcing him out of bounds.
He's just one of a bunch that came to the BC Lions with Wally Buono. I mean, Dave Dickinson gets all the headlines, but there's a bunch of very good football players in there and coaches. Dan Durazio,
Jacques Chapdelaine we talked about earlier.
Mike Benavides, and I talked about special teams. And he's done a nice job preparing them this week. A lot better this week than the last 2.
McGarity. And Carter has him. Eric Carter.
And this is not good news for Calgary Stampeders fans, as Wayne McGarity is having all kinds of problems. Darnell McDonald, he's physical again on the play, but McGarity got twisted at the bottom of that one.
McGarity, the #1 punt returner in the CFL, coming into this one. 2 for touchdowns already this season, and certainly one of the candidates, Glenn, for Rookie of the Year. Wayne McGarity.
Frank Cutola of the BC Lions here as well. Another one.
Wayne McGarity, his right ankle is the problem area.
And here's why it's a problem area. Take a look right there at 260 pounds and what Brent Johnson has to do. He has to jump over the pile because his teammate Eric Carter slides underneath him, and when he does come down, he comes right down on Wayne McGarity. Brent Johnson has made some plays tonight. I mean, he didn't do that on purpose. He had to get out of the way. He's made some plays tonight.
Gain was 1, 2nd and 9 here for Frederick. No shot. He's down. Derek Lewis celebrates the sack.
Well, blitz coming from the BC Lions. Bo Lewis from one side, Carl Kidd from the other, and Carl Kidd makes Kevin Frederick hold on to the football long enough for Bo Lewis to get there. There's Carl Kidd there. There's Lewis on the other side. Here they go, and I'll meet you in the middle. That's what they're saying. Coming off the edge. Watch Carl Kidd get up. Broken hands and all. He gets up over top. That holds, makes Kevin Frederick hold the football. Here comes Carl Kidd.
Got it.
And his teammate gets home.
Where's the
Home is the quarterback. That's what on defense. That's what we used to call it. You got to get home.
Big punts. Duncan O'Mahony. Frank Cotillo returning for the Lions, and he's wrapped up in a hurry by Charles Assman. Really no return there after a 45-yard punt, and Dave Dickinson once more. Game Story is brought to you by Sport Check, Canada's largest sporting goods retailer.
And here's what we're talking about. If you've done that and your receivers have done that, then you could be done for the night if you're playing with a broken hand. Ray Jacobs, another big game, back-to-back, huge games for him.
And you're leading by 23 points. Stampeders offense has not had a night at all. 10 punts, 1 fumble, 178 yards total. And Ray Jacobs leading the way in the sack parade as well. Kelvin Anderson once more. Huge run to set up a touchdown earlier, and another big run for Kelvin Anderson. Jason Bray to make the tackle.
Oh, and he comes over and throws the football to the Calgary bench, and he'll get a penalty for that. He's going to get a taunting penalty for that. And
it might be worth it, though. What do you think?
Well,
if you're Kelvin Anderson, come on, Glenn.
Well, if you've got a 27-4 lead, okay, I'll give it to you.
And this team,
you know, and I don't
cut you and send you packing.
I'm certainly not a proponent of taunting, without question. And this is a business.
Now look at Wally, though.
Yeah, and
a little smirk there.
Well, John, this is a business, and the Calgary Stampeders went in a different direction. Calvin Anderson, much to Wally Buono's delight, was available because of it. And Calvin Anderson, obviously, for him, it's worth every minute of it and every yard of that penalty. But you know, you certainly aren't a proponent, and I'm not, of taunting the opponent.
Well, I didn't mind that one, just once. Tough decisions have to be made. Dickinson. There's Claremont again. And Barker had to make some tough decisions when taking over.
And in fairness to Jim Barker, John, he wanted to try and find a way to keep Kelvin Anderson on the roster. I mean, he wanted to have Kelvin Anderson and Lawrence Phillips play in the backfield together, and that didn't work out.
It was the toughest day I've had since I've been here, and Kelvin, because he was such a pro, and you know, I knew he knew the situation where, you know, anytime you have Lawrence had played for me before, and I had a comfort level with him, and Kelvin competed and never said a word about it, just worked hard every day. And we were trying to find ways to keep both of them on the roster, and felt like if there was a way we could do that with the ratio and with things, that we would love to do it. And when it came down to the end, we couldn't do it.
And that's the decisions that coaches face every year. And you know, there's a lot of people that will second-guess the decision without question. And when you look at Kelvin Anderson's production, that's why they second-guess the decision. The bottom line is Jim Barker felt comfortable, like he mentioned, with Lawrence Phillips. And then Lawrence Phillips, he lost to injury. He broke his hand.
Well, that's not the only problem facing the Stampeder head coach. He's got a quarterbacking situation that's like juggling eggs. He's got Kevin Frederick in the lineup right now. Dickinson a little high, intending that for G. Simon.
But you know, just to finish up that with Kelvin Anderson, you know, deep down the alumni, the former player in me from years back is happy for Kelvin Anderson.
That he's found success in a home in British Columbia.
Well, and one more time, because, you know, a guy who's done what he's done throughout his career, you know, deserves a shot on a team. He's got a good football team, a coach that he's comfortable with, and a quarterback in front of him, obviously, that's as good as it comes.
And he's third in rushing so far this season, with 425 coming in, en route to another 1,000-yard season. Dickinson will get a first down out of this. Frank Cutolo, another welcome addition to Wally Buono's BC Lions. George White had to go over to make the tackle. And another first down for the Lions, 16 for Cutolo.
Watch how this play develops for you, because you're going to have Geroy Simon with all his success push the coverage deep, and then Cutolo just comes right underneath it, and he's the forgotten man. See, here goes Simon, or excuse me, it's Chris Brazel with his speed up top, and then Cutolo underneath. Speed can influence a defense in a big way.
From the 44, another first down for the Lions. Thelwell turns it into a first down. Dickinson has visited the doctor this week, and he's picking apart this defense like a surgeon.
Yeah, well, he's probably still on that left hand wearing the hospital bracelet. I mean, that's how recent this surgery has been for Dave Dickinson.
Had the stitches out just yesterday.
Yeah, and did it himself, probably. You know, he just took them out in practice or something. That's what football players do, the stitches.
Just rip them out.
Yeah. Just take them right out. You gnaw on them.
Yeah, you don't even use tweezers.
No.
You just bite them out.
What do you think Carl Kidd did with his? He gave him a good yank. And that's the type of thing, John, that as a teammate, especially when it comes from the quarterback position.
Offside. Calgary number 91. First down.
And as a teammate, you watch guys like Dickinson play in the pain and in the problems that he's had with his hands, and Carl Kidd on the other side of the ball play with both hands broken, and it's an inspiration. Your leaders are going to war for you, and you'll go in that trench anytime with guys like that.
Penalty against the Stampeders, 1st and 5 for the BC Lions. Just over 8 minutes to go. It's Thelwell again, and he'll be close to a first down. Jason Bray makes the tackle, and Dickinson has used everyone again.
Well, he has, and just look at the numbers. You know, there you go, right there, 6, 6, 6, and 4. I mean, and everybody else gets involved a little bit too. Calvin Anderson's even caught one out of the backfield. Your two number 1 and 2 guys are over 100 yards, and it's because of where the defense takes you. Dave Dickinson has taken advantage of the inexperience from Jaime Hill, the secondary coach of the Calgary Stampeders.
It's been a long night.
He's trying to make sure he's got enough guys in the field, because it seems like they're playing a man short. That's why he's got the glasses up there. He's going, I can't be playing with the same amount of, okay, yeah, they're all out there. You know, and you just, it's one of those things that you gotta get a new pen, because that one's empty, and you got to go back and start getting them sorted out again. But again, you're playing against Dave Dickinson. He'll take advantage. Every defense has a weakness, every single one of them. It's up to the quarterback to find it. Number 12 will.
Lions a yard shy. Spurgeon Wynn is in on short yardage. 2nd and 1.
Oh,
there you go. The touchdown toss. How about that? Tyrone Williams, who's had a great season. And oh my. Spurgeon Wynn with the TD toss.
Pitchers sometimes speak volumes, don't they?
Absolutely. It's 33-4.
When Tyrone Williams is getting in behind everybody, and you're back at the drawing board. Nice trick play, and it's surprising to me in some ways that we don't see this more often.
It's a free play when you're down there and you have a huge lead.
Well, and it was 2nd down and short,
That's
not
what
3rd
I'm saying,
down.
yeah.
That's right. So you have the waist down.
Absolutely a free play. Oh my gosh. Well, there's lots to cheer about at the stadium at BC Place tonight.
We'll take another look at the touchdown while a guy displays his shortcomings at the other end. Spurgeon Wynn just lobs it up there to Tyrone Williams.
A little wobble on it, so Tyrone Williams had plenty of time to get under it. Yes.
See, when the wobble comes down, now you're not just looking at the point of the ball. It's you've got the wobble, so you've got more of the ball to look at.
They couldn't hurt him, could they? Speaking of Williams making the catch. Another timeout at the stadium at BC Place. BC Lions have put together one more great night. It's 34-4.
The season from a defensive lineman, Farhan. He got in behind the coverage. And that's his second, and he just said on the sideline, he turned around, looked right at it, and said, I got more in me.
Time to get some sacks now.
Showing that receiver speed and agility down the field.
Lots of receivers used by the BC Lions tonight, and Tyrone Williams has the latest touchdown for a 30-point advantage. Is he done now?
How you doing? McDray Falls at halftime, kicking it. Mom and Dad, how you doing? Love you. Take care, Tam.
Today, a little later than most people expected. I asked Dickinson when he came to the sideline if he was surprised he stayed in so long. He said, not at all. I wonder why. And he just looked at me and winked. So I think we all know why it's 7.5 minutes to go in the quarter, and finally Dickinson will get the much-deserved break.
Well, he is a former Stampeder, but not quite as much on the line as you talked about earlier for Dickinson, having been away for a couple of years. But still, you'd like to beat the old team. Kelvin Anderson may be thinking about it a little bit more. Here's Darnell McDonald. Went high and did the high hurdles over the defender, Deshaun Austin, right over his head, but nowhere near making a catch there.
Yeah, and a lot of times when it comes, I'm sure, to pulling a quarterback, and you know, it's also up to him in some ways, and you know, coach has the final say, but I'm sure at times the coach will just lean over and say, well, what do you think? You want to come out, or are you done? And Dickinson, knowing Dickinson, he'd say, not a chance, man. I had some fun out here. I've taken some shots, no big deal, but I want to go and play.
Federick on 2nd and 10, Calgary. Stampeders in disarray. This team has looked flat again tonight, and the bad news for Calgary, they have the BC Lions in the rematch next week.
Well, and they've got to shore up some protection problems up front, because early in this game, when the game was still in question on the score clock, there were 5 offensive linemen that were having problems handling the 4 defensive linemen of the BC Lions, and that's a concern, because when you outnumber that pass rush, you should be able to hold your own, and the Calgary quarterbacks just couldn't do it.
Duncan O'Mahony has been busy tonight. The Stampeder offense has not moved the ball. Frank Cutola looking for a huge return one more time. He's lacked a couple lately. Had a good start as far as a returner, and he was one of the problems they were talking about last week. He just hadn't had the big returns in the last couple of games, but this isn't bad here.
See the guy Jacques Chapdelaine at the end who just kind of leaned back in his chair. He's called a nice game along with Dave Dickinson right here. This is how they started with Claremont in the end zone.
This was pretty too. Chris Brazel, yes.
That was a plunge sent up by Kelvin Anderson run, so they had some balance. Kelvin Anderson's had a nice night, and then
Spurgeon the toss.
Tyrone Williams. So between Jacques Chapdelaine, Steve Barato, and the quarterbacks of this football team, well-executed game plan from top to bottom.
Holding, BC number 2. Objectionable conduct, Calgary number 85. First down.
You know, but it's interesting. I once had a conversation with Don Matthews, head coach of the Montreal Alouettes, when he had Doug Flutie as his quarterback, and he told me at that time, you know, for the most part, what you do with quarterbacks of that quality is that you take the football and you hand it to them, and then you just get out of the way. I think this coaching staff probably feels the same way when it comes to Dave Dickinson.
Well, and you know that Wally Bueno has had that same opportunity with all the guys he's had.
Absolutely.
And now he's got Dickinson back. Now Spurgeon Wynn is in. He's got Thelwell. Still on his feet. Touchdown, Lions.
That's a big one for Spurgeon Wynn, who gets a chance to get in the football game. Played well in the start versus Toronto in a losing effort in overtime.
Well, he's fired about 3 passes by my count, and 2 have gone for touchdowns.
One to big D lineman Tyrone Williams, one to a receiver in Thelwell.
62 yards for that touchdown. Another long night for these Stampeders. 3rd touchdown of the season for Ryan Thelwell. And not only does he make the catch, he turns it into a nice run for the touchdown. Pryor can't bring him down.
Neither can Lawrence Deck.
Five catches, 106 yards.
What's up, Amari? Daddy loves you.
Ryan Thelwell from Spurgeon Wynn.
And this catch from Ryan Thelwell puts him in the 100-yard club tonight. Now 3 line receivers are over 100 yards on the evening.
'62-yardage. Well, the Stampeders change it up a bit and send McCullough back on the return teams.
When you take a look at this season, and a lot of teams have had to go through this and start quarterbacks in their first ever start in the Canadian Football League, and if you rank them on completion percentage and overall production, that's pretty much where they sit right now, and you keep adding to it. Spurgeon Wynn, nice percentage, 67, and a conservative game plan, 0 interceptions. And Milanovic, you know, his big blemish, of course, the picks that he's thrown.
7 in 5 quarters for Milanovic.
And Frederick won his first game, his first start.
That was Calgary's first win of the season.
John, this is a demoralized team right now, though, the Calgary Stampeders. And drops
Rochelle
like
dropping
that,
it there.
Yeah, Rochelle drops that one, and drops like that shows that this is just now starting to affect them mentally. And those 2 tackles, or attempted at tackles, on Ryan Thelwell on the way to the end zone on that last play.
Yeah, that was lethargic.
That's when a team starts to, you know, let these things get to them mentally. It's one thing to lose a football game. That happens to everybody. But it's another to, you know, to stop battling and to turn off that competitive juice that's flowing in you when you step on the football field. And right now, Jim Barker's got to deal with that.
Kevin Federick got some heats. As Rochelle, he'll have a first down on 2nd and 10. Deshaun Austin made the tackle.
Wayne McGarity, guys, left the field on a cart. They're saying he has a pulled right calf muscle. He certainly could not put any weight on it. So the news is not good for really what's been a big spotlight and a bright light for the Stamps. And you wonder, in the middle of August, guys, there shouldn't be must-win football games, but isn't it pretty close next week for the Stamps?
I'd say so. Yeah. Dropping to 2 and 6 in the race in the West. Dropped. And he is the sure-handed receiver of the Calgary Stampeders over the last 3 games with 28 receptions. Darnell McDonald can't hang on there.
Well, and, you know, Jim Barker now loses another weapon, and you know, I'm not going to speculate as to how long Wayne McGarity will be out, but pulled calf muscle certainly is trouble. And now that's your special team star, and one on offense that's really emerged. He may get Lawrence Phillips back. I understand he's been practicing this week.
Federick stands in and fires again.
And although Kevin Federick at times has shown some things, and And Milanovic certainly isn't, you know, a quarterback as bad as 7 interceptions in 5 quarters, without a question. But if this team was going to have success, they're going to have it with number 1 at quarterback. And if they're going to get there and they're going to come back and save this season and make a run for the playoffs, number 1's got to be their guy.
Well, he's the top paid quarterback on this team as well.
Well, and he's been there, John, and I think that's the most important thing. He's been there in the fight.
Been the MVP.
He understands the battle. He played a great half of football versus Montreal before he was injured.
Another big run for the Lions brewing here. Frank Cotomo, a flag down, and he steps out of bounds.
Well, guys, we're at the trainer's table, but nothing wrong with this guy, G. Roy Simon. A lot of guys having a lot of fun tonight.
Definitely. You know, this is a game that we definitely wanted to win. A lot of guys was taking this one personal, and you know, we just wanted to come out and have a big win.
Talk about the play of your quarterback. Stayed in a little longer than most people thought, and seemed to be worth it.
Definitely. I mean, we had the lead last week and at halftime, and you know, we let them come back. So we just wanted to make sure that they weren't going to come back, and you know, we just want to put a little extra on the win.
All right. Good luck next week in the return match.
Thank you.
Free agents out of Winnipeg, G. Roy Simon.
That was a beauty. Down the seam early in the game. He jumped out of his drawers. He was so fast. Caught him on the sideline, knocked down guys over there. It didn't matter. He just over the middle. Didn't matter where on the field G. Roy Simon was. The ball arrived, and he made the catch.
They're struggling bad. I know.
Less than 4 minutes to go, and the BC Lions are headed for a share of top spot in the CFL West. Illegal substitution. Stampeders with Federic tossing for another receiver.
You know, for Jim Barker now, he's got to try and get Marcus Crandall healthy again, and hopefully for the Calgary Stampeders and their fans, that may be next week. They have a couple of days off, and he may get Marcus Crandall because of those days off back a little early, but you can't push a hamstring on the other hand because they play the same team, a team that's improved in all phases from a week ago.
Blake Mahan was the target there, number 87, and the Lions have done a nice job on special teams tonight when they had problems with that. No catch far side. That's Darnell McDonald with 3:01 to go unofficially.
Mike Benavidez, the special teams coach, come over from the Calgary Stampeders, retooled the game plan a little bit with regards to the special teams after giving up in the last 2 games close to 500 return yards. He made some personnel changes, put some of the linebackers and some of the starters on the cover teams, and challenged his special teams unit, and they responded tonight. Dan Durazio, the offensive line coach, has done a nice job for the most part protecting his quarterback.
Interception. Eric Carter actually came out of that with the football. Wally ball in BC. Lions are loving it, so are their fans.
They're building something here, aren't they?
Eric Carter steals another one. It's 41-4. Wally Bueno, pretty happy to be where he is right now.
Well, they're starting to build something here in BC, John, and Bob Ackles and Wally Bueno brought instant credibility to this football team. And it's been a slow process through the offseason, the preseason. But now they're starting to build.
Wally tried to tell me yesterday that it was just another game.
No shot.
I didn't buy it then. I've watched him tonight, and he's been all smiles. Another opportunity. This is Norup, and he's to the 40. The Stampeders are completely demoralized now, and they've still got 2:21 to go. The Lions could hit 50.
Jim Barker has to go and regroup before they face this same team and figure out an answer defensively. And then he's got to lean on guys like Joe Fleming and guys like Alondra Johnson and some of the leaders out there. He's got to lean on them big time. When things get bad, you find out the character guys. And, you know, Alondra Johnson, Joe Fleming have been at both ends of the spectrum. George White, another one.
Alondra Johnson has been injured a little bit tonight and is coming back onto the roster. So he missed a few plays at a certain stage of the game and missed last week's game as well.
Well, and then on the opposite sideline, John, you got BC Lions that are building something. And when you have players that are playing with broken hands, when you have players that can't wait to get back in the lineup, you have players that have bought into what you're trying to do. And no one wants to sit up. They want to be on that football field, and they want to be helping their team win the game.
Lions are down to their third string quarterback, Casey Printers. He's a speedster, and he's down to the 3-yard line. Kelly Malvo made the tackle.
Printers has some speed to the outside now after he corrals that high snap and then finds an opening. That's pretty good speed in the open field. Now he's got to tuck that ball away a little bit. But
out of Florida A&M, Casey Printers heads to the end zone. Not quite this time.
Little stiff arm, and now the BC Lions kicking the Stamps when they're down.
Well, and what do you say about that? I mean, other players are getting their opportunity to get into the game.
Yeah.
Like Casey Printers here, and we saw Spurgeon Wynn come in and throw about 4 passes, 2 for touchdowns.
Without question. You keep playing. Your backups are in there, and you can't ask them to just kneel down. You keep playing, and you play your backups. And your backups want to make something happen. They want to be on the game film because tomorrow becomes a lot more fun for everybody when the team can sit and watch some success from everybody.
I stand corrected on Spurgeon Wynn. 2 for 2. Both went for touchdowns.
Yeah, that's probably a candidate for your player of the game.
I would think there's some votes going that way for the Rogers AT&T Wireless Player of the Game. You can cast your vote on the internet or by text messaging.
When 3 receivers are over 100 yards, G-Roy Simon, Chris Brazel, and Ryan Thelwell, you give it to the quarterback. And I mean, he's the #1 target, G-Roy Simon. And Claremont was he was close to 100 yards himself. He had 67. So you know, that's spreading it out, and that's your quarterback making it happen.
So the Lions threaten to add to 41 points they've already got on the board. And yes, right there.
How about Brett Anderson, too?
Anderson, a couple of catches tonight. That for a touchdown from 4 yards out. And the third string quarterback, Casey Printers, has his first CFL touchdown toss.
Well, they say it rains a lot in BC. When it rains, it pours. Right now, it's pouring on the Stampeders. It doesn't matter who's in the game. Backups, second team, and in some cases, third team. Not with Brett Anderson, but certainly with the quarterback who threw it to him.
Spurgeon Wynn, touchdown. Spurgeon Wynn, touchdown. Casey Printers, touchdown. The last 3 possessions for the Lions have netted touchdowns. And 48 points are now on the board for this BC Lion team. Interesting when you look at how this season began for the West Coasters. Back-to-back losses first 2 weeks.
Well, Printers showed a little bit of both running the football and throwing the football on that. Here's his run. Good size.
Brings it down.
Good size and good speed. That's nice speed to the outside. And, you know, Printers is 6'2", 216. He does a nice job with a stick arm there in the open field, and then throws a touchdown pass to Brett Anderson right afterwards. And let's take a look at that. Drops back. This is a protection of his line that played very well all night. And there's Brett Anderson in the receiving end.
Well, all we have to decide here tonight with 1:14 to go, because it's a Wendy's Friday night, is who will Glenn's Gladiator be?
Oh boy, there's
a night of heroes for the BC Lions, and safe to say the Gladiator will not be wearing red and white. And it's been that kind of an evening. He was the hottest Stampeder coming into the game. He was the hottest receiver in the league when you looked at 28 receptions over the last 3 games.
Well, you know, when you're talking Gladiator, John, and Gladiator is not like the MVP. It's the guy that. It's the guy, and I'll tell you where I'm leaning. I'll tell you where I'm leaning right now. That might have been just a little hint.
Well, yeah, I think you've given it away.
Well, I mean, you got a guy playing out there with not one broken hand, but 2. At linebacker, all over the place, inspiration to his football team, making tackles, covering kicks, and playing with broken hands, and having fun at it.
Well, this guy can't even order beer after the game tonight. His fingers are broken.
Well, Carl Kidd is a gladiator, and he's certainly the gladiator tonight because, you know, and you know, he could almost be a player of the game as well, you know, because of the way he's played and the way this defense has played in general. But it reminds me, John, of a story of one of my other favorite football players, and that's Ronnie Lott. And Ronnie Lott had a finger problem, and they told him in a playoff game, they said, if you want to rehab it, you're going to miss a game. He said, cut it off. And he went and played the game, and that's what you love. And he was Carl Kidd was asked the same thing. He said, you know, we can tape it up, we can rehab it. He said, you know, I don't need fingers to play my position. I use shoulders. And he's got 8 pins in those fingers, playing with pain, and he certainly isn't showing it, is he? Yeah, that's a gladiator right there, and that's the team rallies around that kind of thing. And Carl Kidd.
Just to show y'all how tough I am. So, if y'all see me in the park,
he'll certainly tell you about it too.
Don Blair has dropped too many tonight.
Look at them stitches. They just took them out yesterday. So, if I'm in a bar fight, y'all know I'm bringing it. They hot.
Here's the deal. He's taking the Band-Aids off so he can order the beer tonight.
I love it. And then he comes and says, hey, if I'm in a bar fight tonight, I'm bringing it. I'll tell you what, if Carl Kidd's in a fight anywhere, he's bringing it. And if you're in a fight, you want Carl Kidd on your team. I'm telling you, you want Carl Kidd at your back in a fight.
Federic got it away, but barely. It was not a pretty pass, and neither was the throw when you watch the delivery from Federic there.
Honorable mention on that, by the way, to Dave Dickinson, who played with 1 broken hand, but this is it's a tough guy, and now Jim Barker's got a chance here. He's got, you know, regardless of the score, he's got to figure out a way to stop that guy, Dave Dickinson. That's #1 priority heading into next week. How do I find a way to stop Dave Dickinson? And it might be the presser package. And it may be rush 3 and drop everyone and see if Dickinson will be patient.
3rd down.
But there's lots of different ways and different techniques. We'll see what Jim Barker comes up with, because that's his #1 priority. How do we slow that guy down? #2, how do I protect my own quarterback?
Dave Dickinson's BC Lions move into a 3-way tie for top spot with Winnipeg and Saskatchewan at 5-3. The Edmonton Eskimos could be 5-3 before the weekend is out, creating a 4-way tie for top place in the West.
Here's Dave Dickinson. This is what Jim Barker has to figure out. Okay, he went to the out there in a short pass for a touchdown. Then he threw one up to Brazel, and that was more Brazel than anything. And then he used the running game, and Wynn came in for 1-yard plunge, and then a trick play. We've got a game plan for that.
Tyrone Williams, and then second pass of the game, second touchdown of the game. It's Thelwell getting open, and then Casey Printers has 1 more touchdown toss.
And Chad Chris has another interception going the other way to just show complete dominance from top to bottom in this football game. Sometimes it happens. Tonight, the BC Lions dominated the Calgary Stampeders.
Scott Milinovich was not the answer as the starting quarterback. Kevin Federic was not the answer in relief. And the question facing the Stampeders now is, who can they use when they have to play the BC Lions again next week in the rematch? An interception
from a former Stampeder. Chadwick Chris.
Pretty well wraps it up, doesn't it? 48-4 is our final.